Good day, my cosmic friends. So in the next round of cleaning and pressing and working on my pressing skills, today will be Bruce Lee, The Dragon Rises, Free Comic Book Day, issue 0. So this is a book that was created by Bruce Lee's daughter, Shannon Lee, Darby Pop Comics. They are, or rather publishing. It's a fun little story. It's if he basically was teleported into modern day and was super confused. As you can see, just a little, what would seem like a pressable bend here because it's not a color break. And then there's just some spots that I think can, like here in the bottom as well as a little bend, but none of them seem like color breaks. So I'd be curious, this kind of bending here, be curious if I could press that out. That's one copy there. And then the next copy has more of a, you can see this seam here, not a color break. So I'm curious if I could press that out. And, something like this here. There's like these little dings that aren't color breaks that I would like to experiment with and see if they will come out. So moisture bath time. Set these in here. For about 4 hours, 4 to 6. Let the moisture take to the books and go from there. Bruce Lee, The Dragon Rises 0, that has just been in a moisture bath for about 6 hours. You can see that it seems like it took to it pretty well. It has like a cool kind of feel to it. Actually, this is one of the alternative covers that came out for it, which is really cool. Right there, I have that one as well. So this has a good feel to it. I'm thinking I'm going to try a different amount of heat this time. I'm gonna go less heat, more time on the press. So I want to see if that helps to maybe make the press work a bit better. So I'm doing just back cover and front cover and back cover. These pages don't have a glossy feel to them, so I'm thinking that might work to my benefit. It's all trial and error at this point. I'm trying to make sure the glossy side gets to the cover. Try to even that out. Try to get it pressed in, but also trying to find like the sweet spot so I don't over push. These extra Teflon sheets over here for a moment. Set that up just right. Okay, here we go. So remember, there's just some small little dings on here that could get ironed out. One of them is actually the top corner right here on this first book. So I'm hoping that that gets pressed out. It's a little bit of a color break, but it would be nice to see how it flattens it out if possible. Okay. So the first book I put in also took well to the moisture bath. It has like a different feel to it, a little bit more of a waviness when it gets in there. Okay, so I'm testing out only front cover and back cover. So that's kind of my intention with this go around. it in. Fighting off some sinus stuff. It ain't the Rona. Thank God. Okay, here we go. So that seems securely in and evenly placed. So now this one's also going to go face up, but in an alternate way so it doesn't push against the other book. Slide this over slightly. And then we'll do glossy side on top of the book. So the next step would test out parchment paper, I believe. I would like to do that because I think it does help and I've seen it work before, but I figure I want to do some experimentation and see what happens if I just try it this way. So we will see together, we'll be educated and learn together. Okay. All right, so I'm going to turn this on, and the way I have it set up is 155 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it's going to be for 5 minutes at that heat. And then I'm going to turn it off when the timer goes off and let it sit overnight, most likely 12 hours, just to see what is there a difference there. I've heard some people do it, for 10 minutes. I'm kind of taking incremental steps. This is the biggest jump I've done so far from the last 2 presses that I've done, or 3 rather. So this is going to be my 4th press. If you hadn't seen, I did a magazine size book, which was this Star Wars storybook, full color photographs, and it was really bent up. It was in someone's trash, and it was actually like fully curled up and bent, and now it turned out to be a pretty good looking book, even though it's not in great shape physically or paper quality wise, because it's been bent so much and tossed around, but aesthetically now it looks quite a bit better. It's incomplete. There's like pictures and things cut out of it, but it'd be a nice little yard sale item, maybe for a couple of bucks, something like that. And now we play the waiting game. One of the next books in the experiment is going to be this Resident Evil 1 magazine that, goodness, came out in the 90s, 98 maybe. I was always a huge fan of Resident Evil. It was one of the first games, it was the first game I had for PlayStation 1. And it's a Jim Lee cover, actually, so I would love to get this signed by Jim Lee, so I'm going to have to wait for the next CGC event, give it a clean and press, and send it in. I also have the other covers that go with it, so I'm thinking I might do the complete set, but we'll see. I would definitely love to get a 9.8, even though that's probably not going to happen with that book in particular. I might have to purchase one eventually, but it would just be something fun because I've had that for so long, since literally I bought it in 98. God, I forgot where the heck I got them from. I was so pumped to know that like they were coming out with a series of books. Actually have a 8.5 Resident Evil 1 that came out in 96 from Marvel and Capcom, and it was like a promotional book, kind of prequel to the first one. And I'm gonna attempt to break that out of the slab, clean and press it, and send it back into CGC. Now, that's another conversation for another time about to crack or not to to crack or not to crack the slab? That is the question. All right, so we're at 155. I'm gonna press down. Seems nice enough. Timer's going. Have I just sacrificed my Bruce Lee books to the madness of my science experiment? Now you see, that's annoying because the heat keeps going up even though it's set to 155. So maybe that might be a tick of this particular machine, but I'm not a fan of that. I don't like the fact that it's going, like it's at 160 now, and it's barely, I guess if you're between 155 and 170, it's not bad. It seems like I'm gonna have to cut this off before it gets to 170. I mean, I don't know, maybe it just seems to have stopped at 161. I don't know what that's about. Maybe the heat naturally goes up a little further on this particular machine. I got it for a little cheaper on Amazon, so that's probably the issue. You know, you get what you pay for, I guess is the saying. So yeah, it seems to be kind of dipping down a little bit in the heat. So maybe next time I set it to 150, and then it will naturally progress up a little further. Yeah, I mean, we're hanging back for, yeah, it seems to be dropping down now. So it's the little ticks of every machine, I guess, in particular. You just have to learn the same way. It's like probably driving a car. You got to figure out the little ins and outs of your own vehicle and all that stuff. So we'll be curious to see what the result is going to be on this. I feel like a mad scientist, like twiddling my fingers, like gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Inspector Gadget, freaking bad guy who's like, if you're checking this out, give the page a like, you know, click in on the notifications to see kind of my further progress with this cleaning and pressing setup, because I think that this is going to be ongoing for me. I really have oddly fallen in love with the idea that you can take books and give them new life. Like one of the next ones that I want to work on is this classic X-Men. As you can see, the white, there's some of this, I guess maybe foxing, but it doesn't seem like mold. It seems like something that you can get off with like an eraser. So there's a bunch, and it's weird because there's all this white that you could clean off, and also on the back as well. And I feel like with a really good clean and press, this could pop. It's like one of those covers that just has such a nice clean look naturally. So if you could make those other colors pop, like I really love colors that have yellows, reds, pink. Like there's a Silver Surfer 1 that I'm gonna work on, and I have 2 copies of that, and I would love to clean and press those because I think they would just totally, you know, they have such a nice pop to them. Yeah, I gotta clean and press this as well. It got a little banged up in transit on the way here. It's Amazing Spider-Man 800 Mobius variant edition, virgin cover. It's just nice. I like that. Like, I get attracted by the art of it. I don't necessarily yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. If it's like a virgin variant cover, I really love it because it shows off the artwork. I mean, and everyone knows, or at least it's my feeling, that that's what attracts us to the books that we get, especially when we were much younger. You know, you could see a superhero in a cool pose or doing something crazy, and that was the thing that kind of attracts you to purchase the book. So I like that idea of keeping it, the visual, the main thing. Okay, that's the one thing about this machine, is it definitely makes a huge noise, and it doesn't stop until you turn it off. So all right, we'll see what happens, leaving this overnight, about 12 hours, and we'll see what the effect is. All right, good morning. Let's get these gloves on and see what the press has in store for us. Oh boy, that came off smooth. That was not attached in any way, shape, or form. That's really nice. Maybe the leaving it exposed for longer to more heat. See, this maybe wasn't pushed in enough, because it seems like it created a little line there, but sometimes it's also staple placement that messes you up. But this looks pretty good. It's like a little, I mean, there's little things that I feel like they can be pressed out, but it's just a matter of figuring out what the particulars are for that. Yeah, the book has a nice, like, stiffness to it that doesn't seem like it's affected. Okay, maybe also make sure the pages aren't sticking together, or it hasn't compromised any of the ink. Doesn't seem like it. I mean, it seems very nice. The biggest issue was that it had this line down here on the side, and that is totally gone at this point. Nice. All right. So this was the one that had the ding in the top corner. So I'm excited to take a peek at this one. And it actually treated that pretty well. I mean, you could still see that there was a color break, so there's not much you can do about that, but it flattened it nicely. And the ridge here as well. Oh. Yeah. So as long as it's not a color break, it seems like there's a really good chance that, let's see, this bottom corner here has a little bit of still has a slight wave, I guess, in there. So I guess the other adjustment maybe would be maybe same amount of time with just a little more heat. I've also heard of 155, 155 degrees at 10 minutes. But I'm not sure. There's only trial and error to be had. The lucky thing is I have so many of these that I can actually experiment with another set of these books. So you know what? I might use these exact same ones and go through the whole process again just to see how a book reacts to being pressed. Put in the moisture bath and pressed a second time to see if that has any bigger effect on the book. I guess that'll be my experiment for this next round. But again, really vast improvement. I'm just slightly annoyed with this little spot right here, but that's also because I think I changed the amount of time that the heat and the time element for this round. All right, cool. Think Cosmic.
Thank you for watching this video, my cosmic friend. If you like what you saw, please like the video. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, tips, please leave them below in the comments section, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Please share, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any content moving forward. Thanks again, and remember, think cosmic.